Alright, so number 16 on page, this is like 1.4, but it's a later section of it. So number 16, it says, given that 41 squared equals, someone help me out, what does it say? 41 squared equals, South?
1,681.
1,681. What's the next thing it says? Yeah?
Find the square measure of 410.
What's the square root of 410? Yeah?
No, 16,810.
So you think it's 16,810.
Yeah.
Anyone agree?
No.
You're close, yes?
I'm just gonna say, it doesn't say find the square root, it's just find the square.
That's what this is. This is the square. Oh, it says find the square of 410. Okay. No, you're right. Alright, so we want this squared then. What's the square of 410? It's not 16,810. It is close. He's on the right track. Here's your clue. Oh, you want to take another guess first?
No.
Okay, 410 equals 41 times what? 10. So 41 squared is, well, we're going to put it on the other side. 41 squared is 1,681, and 10 squared is, yeah, 100. So if this is 1,681, if it's 41 squared times 10 squared, 41 squared is 1,681, 10 squared is 100, so 410 squared is 168,100.
Oh,
Correct.
that's a big number.
161,800. Sorry, 168,100. You take this part from here, and since this extra 0 that represents 10 is there, you square that 10. The 10 makes these extra 2 zeros. Because if you take 1,681, which is 41 squared, and 100, which is 100 squared, so basically that means you can replace this for this, 1,681 times 100. Well, times 100, we just move the decimal twice.
Hold on, I'm Confucius.
You're not Confucius.
I am Confucius. Because I just did it right here, I did 4.
You know who Confucius is?
Confucius.
Who is he?
No, I'm Confucius.
It's a person?
in my head.
Yeah, Confucius is a person. He's one of the greatest philosophers of all time. 100%. I am not. This is not a joke. This is an actual person.
Then I am Confucian. So I did 400
I am
times
Confucian.
410. Well, 410 times 410 was supposed to. And I ended up getting 160,100, same as he did, but I did it the right way.
So you actually did 410 times 410.
Yes.
The
Okay.
right way.
So what's your
alright.
question?
Why isn't
Okay,
it right? Because I did 0 times.
Why isn't it? Well, you had the right answer, right?
If
You had this as your answer.
Yes.
So why is what you did wrong? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
The whole point of this is for you to understand how do I break apart numbers and then put them back together so that you don't have to do this. Because the whole point is, how do I understand what the squaring of numbers represents? How do I understand that, hey, if I know what this is, I can know what this is without doing that. It helps you have a better sense of number sense, as opposed to this. This is something you knew how to do 2 years ago. Actually, maybe it was just last year, but that's something you could do. This is teaching you a new skill. It's saying, hey, if this is 41 squared, this is 400, and you're trying to find 410 squared, all right, we'll take that, add 2 zeros at the end of it because you're doing an extra 10 times 100.
Well, if you want to, can you still use?
Nope.
You can't?
You can use it to check your answer, absolutely. But use it to find the answer? No, because otherwise I would just give you that thing that's problem. Most of the time, if you know a different way to do it, I'm okay with it. But the whole point of this problem is so that you know how to do it this specific way.
I love how Brayden walked.
Well, I don't
Sorry.
understand. It doesn't work.
Okay, then let's go through it and figure it out together.
Love that ringtone.
So 410 can be broken into 41 times 10, yes?
Well, that one's easy. I'm talking about something like 50,
Give me another one then.
52, 1.
521.
52 what?
Okay, well if I say 521 squared is 271,441,
That's older than me.
and I tell you, and now I ask, hey, what is 52,000? What's 52,100 squared? How do I figure that out? Back of the room, it's not working for me. Yeah?
Andrew, I have a question. Could we use calculators on this?
Absolutely not. Yeah, this is me trying to set up a problem. I made up a brand new question.
Oh.
If you're gonna come up with a brand new question for somebody else to test their knowledge, absolutely, for this part, you can use a calculator.
I'm still lost while you're putting 100 at the end.
Because I'm trying, so where is this, where, if I understand, hey, this breaks up into 521 and 100, yes?
No.
Why though? Why does it break up into that?
Because you can divide by 100 and get 521 left. We've been doing this stuff all year.
I know.
I don't.
You don't understand how this breaks up?
So you're saying that since 521 is in the hundreds, you can just take 100 out of it.
Wait, say that again?
So you're saying since it's 521, you can just take 100 out of it. So if it was like 52, I could take 10 out of it.
No, because 52 does not divide by 10. 10 doesn't go into 52. 100 does go into 5,002 and 100. 100 times 521 equals this. 10 times 5 does not equal 52. The whole point is that you're breaking this down, like dividing it out. This is not division. This is division.
So does this, this makes it harder then if you gotta find out what it divides by.
It's harder for you because you're understanding it in a new way. Long term, it's going to help you because you'll have a better understanding of how numbers work and how they're made up of different things.
Well, when I look at this right now,
Yeah, because you're relying on what you used to, on the old way that you used to do it.
so how am I supposed to do this assignment?
I'm literally telling you how to do it right now, dude.
I don't understand it.
Then pay attention.
I am.
5,002, do you understand how division works?
Yes.
So do you understand that 52,100 can divide into these two?
Well, you take.
Yes or no? If you don't understand it, then I will explain it.
No, I don't understand it.
Okay. 52,100. If I divide it by 100, 100 goes into 521. How many times? 5 times. 5 times 100 is 500. I subtract, I bring down the 2. 100 does not go into 2. 100 goes to 521. I'm gonna explain it a different way. 100 goes into 100 one time, yes?
Yeah.
So 100 must go into 521 hundredths how many times?
5 times.
No. 100 goes into 521 hundredths. It's literally 521 hundredths. This is 52,100. You can also read it as 521 hundredths. Because this would be 100, this would be 21 hundredths, this is 521 hundredths. I can add up 100, 200, that's 2 hundreds, 2,200, that's 22 hundreds, yes? So 52,100 would be 521 hundredths, yes? Yes, it is.
It is.
Well, if this is 22 hundredths, how is this not 521 hundredths?
Why are you saying hundreds?
Because I'm counting up the hundreds that are in it. Because ultimately, right here, my goal is, if I have 52,100, I want to relate it to this. I already know what 521 squared is, so I need to figure out what the other thing in here is. If I have the 521, and I know this is 521 times 100, which I do, every time you have a zero in there, so if I say 9,000, I can break it up into 9 times 1,000.
Oh.
If I'm trying to find out, let's say 90,000, I can say,
Take out
hey.
19,000.
I can take out 9, no, I'm going to take out 9 and 10,000 if I'm trying to find the square root of this, because I know what the square root of 9 is, and I know what the square root of 10,000 is.
So,
2 zeros means that 100, because if I do 100 times 100, 0, 0, 0, 0, add a 1, 10,000. So I know the square root of this is 100. I know the square root of this. This is supposed to go 100. Not up there. It's not a division problem. This is supposed to go 3 here. 3. 3 times 100 is 300. So therefore, the square root of 90,000 is 300. Now I didn't just figure that out. I wasn't just like, oh man, I memorized the square root of every single number. I've never thought about the square root of 90,000 once a day in my life before right now.
but, so if it doesn't have zeros at the end of it, that doesn't apply.
You're right. It doesn't.
So then,
Every single problem you're doing is one that does have zeros at the end of it so that you can pull it apart.
so if it was 10,000, it would be 10 and 1,000.
You could say it breaks up into 10 and 1,000, but for 10,000 you have to think, do you know the square root of 10 or the square root of 1,000? No, you don't know what the square root of either one. If you're trying to think, because I know what the square root of 10,000 is off the top of my head, because I have 2 zeros, that's 100, 2 zeros, that's 100. So the square root of 10,000 is 100. Here, breaking it up does not help me. Every single problem I'm going to give you, you can break it up. It's going to work out.
So then something like 521,000, how would you break that up? Like what you're doing?
521, so this breaks up into 521 and 100. 521 and 100, yes? We know, and this instead of square root, we're doing the squares of things. We know what the square of 521 is. It's 271,444. So I'm going to say 271,441, and then what is 100 squared?
10.
No, squared. That's the square root of 100. What's 100 times 100? 0, 0, 0, 0, stick a 1 on the front. Because you got 2 zeros, multiply it, 2 zeros, 10,000. So I take all of those zeros and I stick them on the end of here because it's like this number times 10,000.
That looks like it just took longer than just going like the other way.
Okay, I'll do my way, you do your way. We'll do it 10 times. We'll see how many times you beat me.
Okay.
The answer's going to be 0.
Can we try one?
That's a challenge.
1, 2, 3, 4. If we do it once and I beat you, will you promise to quit trying to finagle your way out of this?
Promise, no promises.
Okay, if your answer is a hesitant no, so my answer is no, I'm not going to take you to jail.
I will try to learn it and do it.
Well, I already taught you how to do it like 3 different ways, so I know you know how to do it now.
I know how to do it with the 90,000 and stuff, with the stuff with the 0 at the end of it, but like, you're not always gonna have that.
Yeah, you're always going to have something that works out. Look at number 17. Given that 51 squared is 2,601, find the square root of 260,100. Now, this one, can you do it your way? You know how to find the square root of any number? No, you don't know how to do that. You know how to find the square of things because you can do multiplication. Here you have to figure out which two numbers multiply to get
Look,
this.
you can use prime factorization.
You're right. Yes, you're. I stand corrected. You got me on that. Yes, you could use prime factorization. Watch how much faster this is. This is a massive number. You want to find prime factorization of that? I sure don't.
No.
I look at this. 51 squared. Okay, well I think, hey, if I'm trying to find the square root of that, if I know that if I square 51, I'm going to get that. So if I square 51, and then this has 2 zeros in it, so it must be 510. 51 is that, well it's got 2 extra zeros. If I have 10 squared, if I have 51 squared, 10 squared is 100. 100 times this is going to give me 260100.
Just spent
In the back, you guys can all go back to your seats. No more talking for the rest of class. You don't need to have time to work on stuff. You don't need to work in partners. If you can't figure out how to do it quietly, you don't need to be doing it with other people's help. You can stare at your paper for the rest of this thing and have it as homework, have it late, have me call your parents. Doesn't bother me. Well, it does bother me because I don't really love calling your parents, but if that's what I need you guys, if that's the best way that you guys need me to love you, is for me to call your parents over and over and over again, I will do it every single day for the rest of the school year.
Can you follow too strong?
So 26,100, I know that's what I'm going to get when I multiply these two things. Look, that's exactly what I have here. So if the square root, I'm trying to find the square root of this, well, the square root of these two things multiply to get this. 10 squared and 51 squared. So if I just have 10 times 51, isn't that 510 squared? Yes, it is. Oh, did I just write to the fifth power? Whoops, that's the second power.
So you're saying if that was 41 squared on the top, it would be 41 0.
410. If it's got 2 zeros at the end of it. Now there are some that have 3 zeros at the top
Would
end
that
of it.
make it 2 zeros then? If it was 3 zeros?
Let's look at an example. There is, not a good example here.
Rest in peace, good.
Let's use the exact same. Alright, so let's say that it is okay, so it says 51 squared equals this. Let's say that this equals this. And you're now trying to find the square root of what?
No, you don't have to make that different number.
Let me think about
Because
this
there's 3 zero factors on
for a second. Yep, I'm going to have to. Thank you.
That'll have to be 2 million.
Just thinking, because I'm trying to think of a section where this is 100, so it would be 100. It would be 5,100 squared. So I would have, yeah, that's the number that I'm looking for. Sorry, I had to live reaction on how my brain works for trying to create my own problem.
Brain.
So if I said, hey, if 51 squared equals 2,601, what is the square root of 26,010,000?
Oh.
Well, your brain should immediately say, hey, I know this part right here is 2,600, whoops, is 2,601. This part right here is 0, 0, 0, 0, okay, 10,000.
That's a big boy number.
Those are the two things that make this. Sorry, that's supposed to be a multiplication sign. So 10,000 times that. I know the square root